Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum viewers. This is Mazhar Nisar with today's edition of Politics Today. Viewers, India's hostile posturing over the last few months, of course, culminating initially in the postponement of the SAARC Leadership Conference, and then, of course, we see that India uses another regional forum, the Heart of Asia, to forge alliance against Pakistan. And of course, we see that the posture, of course, was hostile and against the diplomatic norms. Now, as a result of India's posturing, India's conspiracies, we see that new dynamics are emerging in this entire region. To discuss this situation today, we have a panel of guests. Our first guest is Colonel Shafkat Saeed, a very well-known defense analyst. Colonel Saab, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
With him is Liaquat Shahbani. He is a political analyst. Welcome to the program, sir. And with him is Dr. Manzoor Afridi. Dr. Manzoor Afridi is the head of international relations at the Islamic University, Islamabad. Very warm welcome to you, Dr. Manzoor Afridi. Now, Colonel Shafkat Saeed, we will start with you. India has been very cleverly using regional forums to build a narrative against Pakistan, and we've seen an example of this recently in Amritsar, where the subject clearly was Afghan peace and the reconstruction and rebuilding process, but India utilized that forum to spew venom against Pakistan. And we saw that the Afghan President Ashraf Ghani was also speaking India's language.
You would agree with me that since Modi came into power in his election campaign, he has been always ranting that he would engage Pakistan, and he would engage Pakistan in an offensive manner, and he would speak to Pakistan in a tougher language. And this was the pretext on which he could manage that vote bank. And now he has to justify that. And in doing that, he has been doing a number of things, of which one is trying to isolate Pakistan. He has been visiting extensively. He has, so far, toward the mid of his tenure, he has done more foreign visits than his predecessor. And in that also, he has been ranting only one thing, that Pakistan is the center of terrorism, in which he has miserably failed to convince the international community, especially European community. And anything in India or subcontinent, which includes outside region powers like China, Russia, and other countries, Japan, then Modi Sahib always have no face to carry on with, because in Goa he miserably failed. Nobody, and China and Russia came very openly in telling that no country, no religion, and no people can be blamed for terrorism. It is an international phenomena, and you cannot blame
That's
any
right.
country.
I'd like to blame.
But
yes.
I just want to add one thing. Now, when it comes to subcontinent, it comes to Bangladesh, it comes to Afghanistan, it comes to Nepal, Sri Lanka, the countries on which India can put her weight and can subdue. There India has audience, there are people who plays to their tune, and then they can home their goal of isolating Pakistan at very close.
That's right. That's right. I'd like to bring Liaquat Shahbani into this debate. Liaquat Shahbani, the advisor on foreign affairs of Pakistan, Sattar Aziz, he said a very important thing, that this entire hostile posturing is basically playing to domestic audiences and is meant to extract domestic political gain. So how far do you look at this as a strategic objective?
Well, I think I do agree with this statement, because ostensibly it was a platform to guide Afghanistan towards a bright future in terms of economy and stability. But in reality, the platform has been reduced to a boxing ring between Pakistan and India. And we have seen that Modi does not forget to, underestimate Pakistani narrative, Pakistani delegation, Pakistani side of policies on any forum. If you look at the SAARC summit, they tried their best and lobbied with Afghanistan and other countries and postponed the SAARC summit. And we saw on UN General Assembly that Modi himself, he did not go to the address UN Assembly and send Sushma Swaraj there. So these all posturing are a poster that Modi just want to, sideline and isolate Pakistan on international arena. And now we see, particular after CPEC, India cannot digest CPEC in any case, because in CPEC, two rival and two neighbors of India, China and Pakistan both, they are going to emerge as the largest economies and powers, not in the region, but internationally. As we know that China now has emerged as second largest economy in the world. And the interest of China and Pakistan has been converged into the Gwadar, into the CPEC. So they can easily see next decade Pakistan would be a greater, economical and strategical power, not in the region but internationally. So look at the prelude from Russia. That Russia this time, he was supporting Pakistani line. Because Russia has been taken interest in CPEC. In future, they are looking towards Pakistan as important country.
Dr. Manzoor Afridi, it is clearly evident that economic geography is now dictating the dynamics in this region. How do you look at Indian nervousness in terms of the new emerging realities with specific reference to CPEC? And how much do you think India considers this an economic encirclement by China?
This region is going towards geoeconomics. Now many players, they are involved and they are stakeholders in this great game of geoeconomics. You know that this is era of globalization and regional integration. Many regional organizations, they are working for promotion of peace, prosperity, and for mutual trade. So in this regard, if we talk about the Indian designs to isolate Pakistan, it is, I think, a foolish thing. And in this strategy, India has totally failed, because many countries, they are willing to join CPEC, China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. Russia has also shown its interest. Also, Iran is willing, and some Central Asian states, they are also willing. And reciprocally, Pakistan has also shown its interest to join the Lapis Lazuli corridor. Even it is in the interest of India, right, to work for the regional integration, but the Indian posture towards Pakistan to isolate it or to sabotage all this economic process, I think it's not only harmful for Pakistan or the region, it's also harmful for India. And it's not a new thing in Indian strategy. Since the very first day, India has tried its level best to work against Pakistan and to design such kind of policies, not only to isolate, Pakistan from in this region, but also some other powers such as China, because China is not only the regional competitor, but also a global competitor of India. So on different fronts, India is trying its level. On the western side also, in Indian Ocean also, about the maritime security, where India has concerns, reservations about the Chinese growing influence. So in this regard, any kind of development between China and Pakistan, that is not acceptable for India, and India will always try to sabotage it and to create obstacles in their way.
That's right. Colonel Shafqat Saeed, I'd like to bring you into this. How far do you think India has made any headway, if at all, in distracting the attention not of world powers, but maybe of regional countries from the Kashmir issue, considering that there has been a popular uprising that is still going on in Indian-occupied Kashmir? So how far do you think that India has had any success in drawing attention away from the Kashmir issue and from Pakistan's case on Kashmir?
Oh, you know, India has been trying since July. Initially, India, the BJP government, the BJP and PDP government, they tried to destabilize the law and order situation in Indian occupied Kashmir to have a pretext to blame Pakistan. They did it in Bombay and other things. They all were false flag operations, because since 2003, once Pakistan and India signed a written agreement on ceasefire, Pakistan assured India that Pakistani soil would not be used for any activity in India, and Pakistan is still standing by those words, and there is no infiltration from Pakistan whatever. And I say that not only because we have an agreement, they have a mechanism on their border. They have very sophisticated, very competent, very effective border system, which precludes any chance of infiltration by armed men carrying weapon and equipment. Animals cannot even cross that. Only birds can fly across it, but not human being or animals.
Yes.
Now, this is absolutely out of question that somebody is infiltrating through Pakistan. So, world is not believing India that people from Pakistan goes into India and they carry out things like that. Now, there is no problem for Indian intelligence to pick Pakistanis, bring them in their country and make them do and catch them and kill them, whatever. They do those sting operations, they're false flag operations. Now world is not believing that, nobody paid any heed to it. So now they went on to destabilize Kashmir and blame Pakistan for that. That has spun out of their hands. And that has spun out of their hands to an extent that now they cannot hide it, and the brutality and the world first ever blinding of masses has occurred in India. Now there is no example of it. And now you see this curfew and this instability is now almost 6 months old. And it is, every day it is growing, it's snowballing. So whatever India do, it cannot hide this under carpet anymore. And there's now very strong statements coming from international, Amnesty International and UN,
right.
and Ban Ki-moon has spoken of it.
That's
and
right.
everybody is talking of it. Even President Trump said that he would like to mediate for Kashmir and he wants to resolve this Kashmir issue.
That's right.
Now this is further embarrassment, and this is going to increase day by day.
That's right. Liaquat Shahwani, how far do you think raising the temperature of the line of control, resorting to killings, firing from across the line of control, killing the civilian population, attacking our brave soldiers across the line of control, how far do you think this has actually gone against the Indian designs rather than, in support of it?
Well, India has always been championing and dubbing himself a supporter of human rights, a great democracy, a great federation, the country which has been safeguarding the rights of lower static of people, different classes. This claim now has been plunged into a ditch due to the policies of Modi government. Now they are, they tried their level best to just stifle the voice of Kashmiris. And on every stage, they tried to avoid the attraction of media from this issue. But now we feel they are going to be failed, because on every scale, Pakistan now lobbying well, and the issue of Kashmir is the Kashmir issue of United Nations, the Charter of United Nations, their plebiscite issue and their human rights issue, and that everybody knows this time. This is indigenous, pure indigenous movement. No country has got anything to do with that, movement. So this is their own right. They are raising their voice in retaliation. India, killing innocent people of Kashmir. So now on that platform, they are slow and steady. You would see they will lose a picture of democracy, a picture of secularism.
That's
In
right.
other end, we are seeing that a new bloc is going to emerge in this region.
That's right.
Which would will be led by
That's
China,
right.
or Russia,
That's right.
Iran, Pakistan. So
Like Chamani sir, we'll come to that, but I think just, I mean, Dr. Manzoor Afridi's take on what we are just discussing now. Now, India has made a lot of effort over the last couple of months to manipulate other countries in the region to take a stance against Pakistan. And what has been most unfortunate is the stance that we see the Afghan president has taken a number of times, especially on the regional fora. Like, of course, the recent example is Heart of Asia, where he made an extremely hostile statement against Pakistan. Now, Pakistan has supported Afghan brethren through thick and thin. We have played host to over 3 million Afghan refugees here, and Pakistan has done whatever it could at the level of the government, at the level of the people, to stand by the people of Afghanistan. Now, how far do you think this comes as a very unfortunate development, and what Indian designs do you think will be achieved by manipulating other countries in the region?
By manipulating the Pakistan-Afghanistan relations, so it is a threat for the regional peace, because we cannot achieve peace if there is instability in Afghanistan. And same is the case there when there is instability or any security threat in Pakistan. So that is also, harmful for Afghanistan. I mean, we are neighboring states and brotherly nations. Pakistan has also hosted, just you said, for more than 30 years the Afghan refugees over here. And the survival of both countries, that is in peace. And a lot of efforts have been done from both sides, especially Pakistan initiated every time that we should be closer to Afghanistan, and Afghanistan and Pakistan must work together for elimination of terrorism or any kind of security threats, and to promote the regional peace. So I think if India is manipulating Pakistan-Afghanistan relations and supporting Afghanistan to work against Pakistan, it is not in favor of anyone, because it will destabilize the regional peace. So Pakistan is fully aware of it, and Pakistan is extending financial aid and also in some cases the infrastructure development by constructing roads in Afghanistan. So some positive things must be done to bring these two countries, Pakistan and Afghanistan, closer to each other, because there is no survival.
That's right. I'd like to bring Colonel Shafqat Saeed into this. Colonel Saab, Pakistan has time and again assured the Afghan government that Pakistan soil will never be used against Afghanistan, and Pakistan has been for an Afghan-led, Afghan-owned, Afghan-driven peace process. On the contrary, Pakistan has on numerous occasions shared evidence with the Afghan leadership of Afghan soil being used against Pakistan. So how do you look at this entire situation in this context, and this hostility, what cause do you think it will serve?
Before I answer this question, I would like to dwell a little bit on that border escalation by India on Kashmir. You know, India understands this, that Pakistan and India, they are not matchable when it's come to conventional army or conventional capacity. But when it comes to nuclear capacity, Pakistan and India are not at par. India cannot match Pakistan. Reason being that their strike elements have been put to rest by the development of our small nuclear warheads and our ability to launch them with precision in short possible time. So their cold start has come to rest in peace. Now that there's a big frustration, their loss of intelligence effort in Balochistan and Fatah, their ability to conduct or hold what Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan or BLA was doing earlier, that has been curtailed to almost nil.
That's right.
Right? So that frustration has compelled India to escalate on the LOC. And on LOC, Indian knows that God is on our side, because they fire weapons, we fire weapons. They are more in number, they have more firepower, they have more capacity, but whatever, the losses are much negligible on our side and they are extensive on their side.
That's right.
Now coming to your this question, Afghanistan, till the time it is having this, Afghan government is very unstable. You don't know that it is Ashraf Ghani speaking or it is somebody else behind Ashraf Ghani speaking. Now they have the type of government, it is a democratic government, elections were held, but the type of instability or sharing of the government, the powers that exist in Afghan government at the moment, you really don't know who is calling the shot. So that instability does not give any capacity or potential to Ashraf Ghani to be the president of Afghanistan. He is the president of Afghanistan, less the real power, with the powers of president of Afghanistan. Then he does not have control on the organs of the government. They are being run by the ethnic affiliation, by political affiliation, and at the moment this Afghan government under coalition is not the real representative of the parliament or the senate of the Luai Jarga, whatever they call it. That is the reason that whatever Ashraf Ghani concludes or agrees with Pakistan, he cannot implement it. So simple. And if you share, you are sharing with somebody who is calling shot and he cares nothing. He is not bound by whatever the government pledged to Pakistan. So Pakistan knows, everybody knows, you don't need a rocket science or you don't need to be a forensic specialist to establish that whatever is happening in Balochistan or in Fatah is not from Afghanistan.
That's right. Colonel Shafqat Saeed, that's a very good point. I'd like to bring Liaquat Shehbani Saab into it. Now, Liaquat Shehbani Saab, the situation here is that Pakistan is a major stakeholder when it comes to peace in Afghanistan. Of course, peace in Afghanistan means peace in the region. And of course, you cannot separate whatever is happening in Afghanistan with the rest of the region and the prospects for peace here. Now, here we have Pakistan making an effort to reach out to the Taliban there. Pakistan was hosting the Taliban here. They have had several meetings here, and Pakistan has been encouraging a dialogue between the Taliban and the Afghan government. And in this context, how far do you think such posturing by the Afghan leadership is helpful to their own cause, to forging peace within their own country?
Well, unfortunately, Afghanistan does not have their own economic resources. They do not have their own revenue and taxation system. So they have been unaccustomed to international aids, which have been provided by Western countries, NATO. Now they have, found a new ally, which is India, which is going to support them in terms of finance and other healthcare, infrastructure, different facilities. So I think it suits to Kabul government that they should have such, allies which keep them supporting. And they are also playing India and Pakistan, that rivalry, in their own favor. We have observed that Karzai had been uttering the words of American, while Ashraf Ghani has been uttering the words and tone of Indian government. So there is a shift. They have more inclined, Ashraf Ghani has more inclined towards India. Previously, we didn't observe this, set of trends. Now, if they want stability in their country, if they want to be a sovereign country, if they want to stand on their feet, they have to, make viable decisions. They should, accept the reality that Pakistan is their next neighbor country, and Pakistan has had, decades of contacts and relationship with Afghanistan, and Pakistan has been hosting 4 million Afghan refugees in his country on the cost of his own issues, on the cost of, this Kalashnikov culture, this drug culture, these barbarism which has come out from Afghanistan through these refugees. And we know, I don't want to be, indulge myself in blame game, but we know, look at the suicide attacks in Quetta, in Balochistan, in different parts of the Pakistan. 90% of them, they are coming from, Afghanistan. So it means yesterday, the Quetta suicide attackers, they have been killed and arrested. So there are, the IG of Balochistan, he was saying that the attackers were, supported, facilitated, and financed by Afghanistan. So nonetheless, Pakistan has constraints. We are not indulging ourselves in blame game, and we know that stability of Afghanistan is stability of Pakistan. And I would say that we should not just confine ourselves to artificial, just like these international forums, but Pakistan and India, Pakistan and Afghanistan directly engage in bilateral talks. They should come together because they have a huge history. They are neighbor countries. They have experience of both sides. They're Muslim countries. They could have they could pave waves, for their future.
That's right. Now, Dr. Manzoor Afridi, with your experience in international relations, here we have a situation where India has, of course, been more than obviously using Afghan soil against Pakistan, and there have been several instances, and there has been evidence that has been shared. Now, do you really think that we have done enough in terms of diplomacy to highlight the Indian encirclement or Indian threat to Pakistan using Afghan soil?
Well, look, Cold War has been finished, but I think it's still going on in South Asia, especially between India and Pakistan in this perspective, if we see. Because all the global powers, they are the major powers, they are involved here. So the Cold War politics has been, that is continued by India. If we see in the socialist regime in Afghanistan, their time also India had close relations with Afghanistan. And now since 9/11, after the Taliban regime in Afghanistan, so India has maintained again close relations with Afghanistan. Pakistan has done a lot, not only on international level, but also, domestically, that Pakistan has launched Operation Zarb-e-Azab, also operation against the insurgents in Swat, and too many efforts has been done. And internationally, Pakistan repeatedly asked United States to see the situation and to stop India from such kind of activities. Also, Pakistan voiced internationally a different fora on international organizations. Also, Pakistan strived very hard within the Shanghai Cooperation Organizations, where Pakistan and India both, they were observer states since 2005, and now since the last year, both are the permanent members. So even there, Pakistan asked for joint efforts, even by inviting Afghanistan, India, and all the regional states to fight against terrorism, to use the regional anti-terrorism structure within the SCO, right? And also by conducting the joint military exercises. So I mean, at different international forums, Pakistan is active. Diplomatically, Pakistan has invited also the United Nations missions to see not only the Indian violations on the line of control, but also to give proofs about its involvement against Pakistan and western border and everywhere.
That's right.
So Pakistan is active and diplomatically is striving hard.
That's right. Shafkat Saeed Sahab, what more needs to be done to highlight this particular aspect of India using the Afghan soil, supporting terrorism in Pakistan?
I think we need to add price to whatever is happening in Pakistan. For example, Salalah checkpost was attacked. We blocked NATO route.
That's right.
And we blocked NATO supplies for good time, and then there was no such repetition. Exactly like that, the Afghans need to be made to bear for what is happening in Pakistan, in FATA and Balochistan. Losing 90 cadets, 70 lawyers, and 146, 150 children. they must feel the pain as well. And it is the India, whatever India does, India cannot change geography. India cannot take the Afghan, it cannot involve itself in Afghanistan the way Pakistan is involved naturally. Afghanistan has to breathe and eat through Pakistan. India cannot do anything about it. Gwadar cannot be compared to any port in the region, and whatever India does with Chabahar, Iranians have realized it. Iranians are becoming part of CPEC. And Raheel Sharif in his last address at taking over command even said that it is time that India realize and benefit from CPEC than trying to obstruct it, trying to foil it.
That's right.
The basic thing is India cannot digest. India wants to stay somehow in the forefront, and it does not realize it has to do that by fair means, not by malicious means the way it is doing it. I think if India wants to steer the subcontinent for development, stability and peace, India can do it. And unless India wants it, there will be no peace and no stability in the subcontinent.
Right. Now, Liaquat Shahbani Sahab, now looking at the entire situation, and of course, I'd like to bring you to the point that was raised by Dr. Manzoor Afridi, that the extra regional powers are perhaps using this region for a new Cold War. So how far do you agree with this argument that of course was given by Dr. Manzoor Afridi, because we see manifestations of this, you know, in the changing dynamics in the region?
Well, international affairs are based on self-interest, not on foggy sentimentality. Since we know that this region is rich with natural resources, plus we have sea, and strategically it is important region. Russia has always been dreaming for hot waters. During the Cold War, we have seen that
they were dreaming for warm waters. We got them into hot waters.
Yeah, so yeah, now
Soviets, not the Russians.
Yes.
The Soviets.
Even in the timing of Tsar, in old great game, this region was a buffer state.
That's right.
Had been declared before. So this is their old dreams, and also in convergence with the Kabul government in '78, where the revolution came in Afghanistan. This was the main strategy. Moscow was supporting them to reach to the warm waters. So now we are observing and witnessing a new great game in the region, and the great game is the same, players are the same, but now the former Soviet Union, that's not representing communist bloc.
That's right.
China is not a communist country, except is political structure. China has became a capitalist country. Now we see there is a new conflict between red capitalism and white capitalism, which is Western capitalism. And both are converging with their interest in this region. So as I earlier mentioned, we are seeing emergence of a new bloc with China, Russia, Iran, Pakistan, and by the convincing of Pakistan in future, we would see Saudi Arabia and Gulf countries in this new bloc. On other end, we are seeing India with America and other Western countries. Though we know that China and India, their bilateral trade volume is $70 billion plus, while Pakistan and China, their volume is only $11 billion. So China and India, they are not going to foil their old trade interest in the favor of Pakistan. They would have their own bilateral relationship, while Pakistan would have its own relationship. But now this time I observed that Pakistan has embarked on a great economical strategy which is based on economy. In previous, during Cold War, that was incidental. When Western countries with their money and dollars came in this region, Fukuyama came here, that was incidental, and that flow of money were not properly utilized in the favor of your GDP growth, economical structure. In second phase we see after 9/11, that was also incidentally. The Western countries came here with their flooding of money. But now this time, Pakistan and China, they are embarked on a proper economical, strategical future of Pakistan by CPEC. So this would have, a positive gesture. This would have positive development in economy, and other countries would join it. CPEC is, a huge, enormous economical project, and it is not a simple project. But we would see in next decade, it's a huge economical activity which will open the gates of prosperity, progress, development in the future, and that would, attract other countries, Central Asian countries, then Russia, then Gulf countries. So, and we know the future battle is staged for economical battle. The country which is rich, which has skill power, manpower, good skills, good infrastructure, and economical developed, they will play in the future international arena.
That's right. Dr. Manzoor Afridi, as has been said, that the regional dynamics are changing. We are forging new allies, new alignments are being born. Now, in this current context, how far do you think the notion of the former subcontinent still survives in some manner, and how far do you think India's efforts at isolating Pakistan with reference to South Asia become really irrelevant in the current context?
Yes, there are two things. One, about the Indian thinking, and second, that is about the Pakistan's designs and strategy. If we talk about India, so India considers itself the biggest power, and I think that's not a bad thing, but India consider itself also as a hegemon. So to keep hegemony, that's very bad for the regional peace. I would give example of the Indian Ocean. India consider its Indian Ocean as belong to India. So India is not ready to share it with anyone. Just as China is investing in Djibouti, which have their naval base over there, and also China is constructing seaports in Maldives and also in Hambantota and Sri Lanka, also in Bangladesh. So it is considered by India as encirclement or the expansionist design of China, although China is investing over there, and it I think doesn't show any such kind of power politics over there. So that is, it shares that the old thing of the Indian hegemony, that is the subcontinental, even from the British era, if we see that even British was interested to have supremacy in Indian Ocean. On the other side, if we see to Pakistan, so now the situation that has been changed, and now Russia is coming closer to Pakistan, and we are forging new relationship with Iran by materializing in future the Iran-Pakistan pipeline, which can be extended to China, where China is also interested. It is also called Peace Pipeline. Now Pakistan is looking towards Central Asian states, to whom Pakistan shares its history and also culture, and the CASA project, Central Asia, South Asia 1000, that's the project, also the Lapis Lazuli, what I talked before. So I mean that now in this scenario, if we talk, the geopolitics has been changing into geoeconomics, and Pakistan is looking for new venues to be developed, and that is not to be, can be digested by India. So India will try every time to make hurdles in the way of Pakistan's development. And now on the other hand, if we see about the United States' role, so it has been very crucial in this regard in South Asia, especially if you talk about India and Pakistan relationship. And the biggest issue is Kashmir. Pakistan has always been inviting United States to play its greater role. So Pakistan and United States has close relations since the Sito and Santo, and you know, in Afghan war in 1980s. After that, United States left Pakistan. So now in this new presidency and the president-elect Donald Trump, in this way, if we talk now, United States is moving closer to India, and I think it should not be used against Pakistan, right? In such a way as India always wised against Pakistan-US relationship, that the aid, military aid or financial aid, whatever United States had to give to Pakistan would be used against India. It was India's reservation. So in same way, the Indo-US nuclear deal or the Trump, you know, soft corner for India during his electoral campaign, I think it should not be used against Pakistan, because Pakistan and US has its own special relationship. So Pakistan is looking for regionalism, regional integration, and Pakistan has been involved in this Istanbul process, heart of Asia, and striving hard to work with regional states, Iran, Turkey, China, some others, for the stability of Afghanistan and for the regional prosperity, economic prosperity. So on diplomatic front, Pakistan is too much active, and India should join hands with Pakistan not to sabotage these dynamics,
right,
but to work
Colonel
for the regional prosperity.
How far would you agree with Dr. Manzoor Afridi, and how would you look at this shifting alliances impacting processes like the SAARC, and how far they are as much relevant today in the new scenario as they were yesterday?
Now, you know, whatever India is doing today, this is going to increase by many folds with the passage of time, till the time India would realize, you know, it is still to reach its apex. And the escalation on the border and the Indian rant in with America, its relation with America and the West, that Pakistan is the epicenter of terrorism. Whatever India does, there are few realities which cannot change. And the realities are, one, Kashmiris don't want to stay with India. Whatever India does, whether it goes to war or it keeps this escalation alive, it cannot hide or it cannot change the aspiration of the people of Kashmir. They have stood up, and nothing can calm them down. Second thing is, there is geography. India, whatever India does, India cannot change geography. Now, the Russian interest in the warm waters, the Central Asian outlet, the Chinese outlet is Pakistan. Come what may. Iranians are intelligent. They immediately realized it. And out of that old animosity, India cannot see this happening, that Pakistan is the conduit. Whether it was war against Soviet Union, Pakistan was at forefront. When it came to war on terror, Pakistan was at forefront. Now once the dynamics have changed, now it is eco-political, again Pakistan is at front. Now whatever India does, India cannot change these realities, the geography, the Pakistan's geographic location, and whatever Trump did in his election campaign for, that was more of bagging the Indian origin American vote bank than
That's right.
taking it as manifesto. Reason being that Pakistan's geopolitical position, the Pakistan ability, America cannot do whatever.
That's right. That's right. I'm afraid that's all the time that we had this evening to discuss this very important issue of shifting alliances in the region and Indian conspiracies. Thank you very much, Colonel Shafkat Saeed, for joining us. Thank you very much, Liaquat Shahwani, for joining us, Dr. Manzoor Afridi, for being in our studios this evening. Viewers, as they say in international politics, there are no permanent friends or foes. What is permanent is national interest. Now the economic geography of the region is being rewritten, and in this context, Pakistan stands to gain, and all Indian designs against Pakistan are being scuttled effectively. Thank you very much for joining us on this edition of Politics Today.